So we were discussing about diversity in living beings. So in the previous classes, we have discussed about how diverse the living organisms, how do they differ in their shape, in their size, in their color, etc. And we have also discussed about the classification of organisms. Various scientists try to classify these organisms into different categories. The first such classification was proposed by Aristotle. So Aristotle classified the organisms based on the habitat. Those organisms which live on land and those organisms which live on in water. So two categories based on the habitat. And next, Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus classified the organisms into two kingdoms, and he put all the plants in one kingdom and all the animals into another kingdom. So that is the two kingdom classification proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. But afterwards, three kingdom classification was also proposed by Ernest Haeckel. Ernest Haeckel proposed three kingdom classification also, but not a single classification could explain the classification of organisms. So the latest classification proposed by Robert Whittaker is five kingdom classification. So Robert Whittaker classified the organisms into five kingdoms, and the classification based on certain characteristic features such as prokaryotes or eukaryotes, that is whether they have specific nucleus or whether they do not have a specific nucleus. So taken this characteristic feature, prokaryotes or eukaryotes, unicellular or multicellular, and mode of nutrition, reproduction, etc. Based on this, the Whittaker classified the organisms into five kingdoms. The five kingdoms are: number one, Monera. In Monera, all prokaryotic unicellular organisms were kept, and that is how prokaryotes are separated from eukaryotes. And then the remaining four kingdoms come under eukaryotes. So the first kingdom is Monera, second kingdom is Protista, third kingdom is Fungi, fourth kingdom is Plantae, and fifth kingdom is Animalia. So again, the plants are divided into five groups. So in the previous class, we have discussed about the classification of plants. The plants, that is the kingdom Plantae, divided into five groups. The first group is Thallophyta, second group Bryophyta, third group Pteridophyta, fourth Gymnosperms, and fifth Angiosperms. Okay, now today we will discuss about classification of animals. So before to understand the classification of animals, you must understand certain terms. Here a slide showing you three types of representation based on the presence or absence of coelom. The coelom is a body cavity which is developed in mesoderm. Generally, in the development of embryo, there will be three layers, embryonic layers, and these three layers are called as ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. Now you are seeing here these are called germ layers. All the cells in the embryo will be arranged into three germ layers, and from these three germ layers, the total body organs are developed. So if three layers are found in the embryo, and all other organs are developed from these three layers, and these organisms are called triploblastic. But in some organisms, in the development of the embryo, you'll have only two layers, that is ectoderm and endoderm. In such case, those organisms are called as diploblastic. Okay, now you are seeing here three layers: ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm, and innermost is a digestive canal. So there is no any cavity here. So such organisms are called as acoelomate. For example, under acoelomate, flatworms come. Here you are seeing coelomate. That means there is a body cavity which is developed in the middle layer, that is mesoderm. And those organisms which have coelom in their development, and they are called as eucoelomate or true coelomate or simply coelomate. And the third group of organisms in which it's not, the coelom is there, but it's not a true coelom. It's not fully developed from, in the mesoderm. So this is called false coelom. So these organisms which show this false coelom, they are called pseudocoelomate. So this is one characteristic feature taken into consideration while classifying the animals. And there is one more characteristic feature I will show you. This is the another characteristic feature, notochord. So in some organisms there is a notochord, but in others the notochord is replaced by vertebral column. Now these organisms which have either notochord or vertebral column, they are called vertebrates. Here the notochord, what is a notochord now? A notochord is a cartilaginous skeletal rod supporting the body in all embryonic and some adult chordate animals. This occurs in the chordates during the embryonic stage and in adult lower chordates. When you see the vertebral column in higher vertebrates, they replace the notochord. Vertebral column will replace the notochord. So what is a vertebral column? The flexible column extending from the neck to tail, made of series of bones. So this vertebral column occurs in all adult higher vertebrates. Now you can see here in the first slide the example lancelet. A lancelet is the organism in which you find the notochord. This is a notochord which supports the body, and it is flexible because it is made up of cartilage. And here you can see vertebral column, and this vertebral column replaces the notochord in all higher vertebrates. So with this we will try to understand. With this we will try to understand the classification of animals. Okay, now classification of, okay, now you see here you are seeing the classification of animals. The animals are divided into porifera, that is one group of organisms where you will find only cellular level of organization. That means you will find only a cluster of or group of cells, and these cells were not differentiated into tissues. So tissue formation is not there. So these organisms in which only cellular organization is present and no tissue level organization is there, and this group of organisms are called porifera. So they are kept in a group called porifera. This is number one group. And all other organisms, they have true level of organization. So this organization, you will find tissue level of organization. And for porifera, you can see example is this one. You are seeing one example here, cycon. Okay, let us see first. Then tissue level of organization. And those organisms which show tissue level of organization are divided into 3 groups. Number 1, no body cavity, that means acoelomate. They can be called as acoelomate. Acoelomate means no coelom is present. Acoelomate, that means coelom is absent. Under the acoelomate, there are Coelenterata and Platyhelminthes. Under pseudocoelom, that is false coelom, it is present in the one group, and that group is called Nematoda. Nematoda or Nemathelminthes. And the third group is coelomate, that means you will find the true coelom. And these coelomates again divided into 2. So one group of organisms in which mesodermal cells form a single cell during growth of embryo. So here Annelida, Mollusca and Arthropoda. Then another group, coelom is formed from pouches pinched off from the endoderm. And again, these organisms are divided into two groups. The one group in which there is no notochord. Notochord is absent. And we have seen notochord is a flexible one, supports the body, and it is made up of cartilaginous tissue. So here in this group of organisms, notochord is absent. And for this example is Echinodermata. Next, organisms which are having notochord, they are called as chordates. And these chordates are divided into again 2 groups. The one group in which notochord is present only in embryonic stage. It is present only in the embryonic stage, or it is in the rudimentary stage. So such embryonic stage, or it may be present as rudimentary, and these organisms are called as protochordates. And other groups which are having vertebra, that means the vertebral column replaces the notochord, and these organisms are called as vertebrates. Now these vertebrates, again, these vertebrates are the recent highly developed organisms. In all these vertebrates, you can find vertebral column, right from neck to tail. Here, these all vertebrates again divided into 5 groups. Number 1, fishes or fishes. Here in fishes, you find exoskeleton made up of scales, and the endoskeleton is made up of cartilage. All fishes come under this group, and the respiratory organ is gills. And the next group of vertebrates, amphibia. Here they live both on land and water. Though they live on water, but at least for breeding, they must go to the water. So they live on both water and land, and that is why they are called amphibians. Example, frogs and all. Then the third group of organisms called reptilia. Here, reptilia are completely independent of water. They do not depend upon water for living, so they completely live on land. So they are called as reptilia. So they have exoskeleton made up of scales, and they are egg laying outside water. They need not go to water for egg laying, as in the case of amphibians. Then the fourth group is aves. Aves means birds. Here, exoskeleton is made up of feathers. So feathers will cover the body and protect the inner organs. One thing. Another thing is feathers also help in flying. And then birds lay eggs outside the water. So that is fourth group. Then fifth group is mammals or mammalia, to which we also, human beings also belong. So here the characteristic features of the mammals are body is covered with hair, and you can find external ears, and mammals give rise to, instead of laying eggs, they directly give birth to young ones, except some 2 or 3 mammals. All other mammals directly give birth to young ones. So this is the classification. So how many groups it became? Let us see how many groups. Number 1, Porifera. Number 2, Coelenterata. Number 3, Platyhelminthes. Number 4, Nemathelminthes or Nematoda. Number 5, Annelida. number 6, mollusca, number 7, arthropoda, number 8, echinodermata, then number 9, protochordata, and number 10, vertebrata. That means animals are divided into 10 groups. Again, the vertebrates are divided into 5 groups: fishes, amphibians, reptilians, aves, and mammalians. So now let us see at least one group, one example under each group of organisms. Now we are seeing here, this is called cycon. Now you are seeing here cycon. The organisms under the this belongs to Porifera. This is cycon, and this belongs to Porifera. Here only cellular organization is there. There are different types of cells, and these cells carry on different functions, but they have not organized into tissues. And they are aquatic. They live in water. Okay, so and the body bears pores, small pores, and that is why these organisms are also commonly called as pore-bearing organisms. Pore-bearing, and they look like sponges. That is why they are also called as sponges. Sponge-like and pore-bearing organisms. So that is Porifera. Next group of organisms is Coelenterata. Now let us see Coelenterata. Here in Coelenterata, you can find tissue level of organization. And in the embryonic development, you can find 2 layers, ectoderm and endoderm. Then what you are seeing here is hydra, and these structures are called tentacles, which help them in moving from one place to another place. So they are also aquatic organisms. Now this is an example for coelenterids. This also example. This is corals. Again, example for coelenterids. In the ocean, you can see different types of corals, and they can some of the members of coelenterids live as colonies. Hundreds of thousands live together, and they are called. That means they lead colonial life also. Either they be free living, singly, or live as colonies, colonial life. These are corals. Corals also example for coelenterids. Now, the third group of organisms called Platyhelminthes, and this is an example for Platyhelminthes. This is called liver fluke. This is liver fluke. Platyhelminthes. These organisms under Platyhelminthes, they are flat, not much thicker. So since they are flat, they are called as flatworms. So commonly, Platyhelminthes, the organisms which come under Platyhelminthes, they are called as flatworms. And some of the most of the flatworms live as parasites and even cause diseases. And some of the flatworms live as independent life also. So that is flatworms. Next, here you are seeing Nemathelminthes. Nemathelminthes. Nemathelminthes, that is nematodes we say. Nematoda. Now the example what you are seeing here is Ascaris. Okay. Now here, this is called Ascaris. This is an example for nematodes or nemad helminthes. And here nemad helminthes also, they live as parasites, cause diseases also. They are triploblastic. And here one more characteristic feature that you can see in even flatworms also, even nemad helminthes also, that is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means if you cut the organisms, you can get two equal parts. If you cut like this center, two equal parts you can get. So such organisms are called as bilateral symmetry. So that is nemad helminthes. So next group is Annelida. Annelida is the example for Annelida. Here, wait. Yes, here you are seeing the example for Annelida. This earthworms. This is the friend of a farmer. They plough the soil, make burrows in the soil. So that is how they loosen the soil. They help the farmers. So here they also show bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, but here they are segmented. The body is divided into segments. So you can find segmented body. This is Annelida. Next, Arthropoda. This is the Arthropoda. You can see Arthropoda. The Arthropoda name itself indicates that arthro means jointed, poda means legs. Arthropoda means they have jointed legs. So these are the examples. Spider, different types of spiders, scorpion, and all insects. So these are Arthropoda. And next group is Mollusca. Mollusca, for example, here Mollusca. This is snail. Example for Mollusca, now you are saying snail. So these are also live in water, triploblastic. So body will have a shell made up of calcium carbonate. So Mollusca, then Echinodermata. Starfish, example is the starfish. The characteristic feature that you can find here is they have structures called tube feet. Tube feet, the water-filled structures, hundreds of tube feet are there, which help the starfish to walk or move from one place to another place. So they are not freshwater, they live in oceans, marine water. Members of echinoderms live in marine water, salt water. Then Protochordata. Ninth group is called Protochordata. Example, Amphioxus and Melanoglossus. Protochordata means you find only notochord, cartilaginous notochord, but not vertebral column. So examples, Amphioxus and Melanoglossus. Then lastly, vertebrates. You can see different types of vertebrates. Different types of vertebrates. Elephant is there, zebra is there, bird is there, tortoise is there, snake is there, dogs, different types of organisms are there under vertebrates. And that is why these vertebrates are again classified into 5 groups. vertebrates are divided into 5 groups. 5 groups. Fishes, amphibians, then reptiles, aves, and mammals or mammalia. So like that, the vertebrates are divided into 5 groups. Okay. From in the next class, we will take each group of animals like Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nemathelminthes. One group after another group will take and will discuss in detail their characteristic features and then distinguishing features and the examples of organisms that come under each group. Okay, thank you.